Good evening and welcome to the South Burlington Development Review Board for June 2nd, 2026. My name is Dawn Philibert. I am the chair of the board and I'd like to welcome you and introduce you to the other members of the board. To my far left is Jody Lesko, Frank. Thank you. Kochman, Mark Baer, Quinn Mann, Ted Lenski, and to my right are our staff, Marla Keene and Alex Levin. This meeting is being recorded. If you are attending this meeting either in person or online or by phone, it's important that you register your participation. So if you're here, please make sure you sign in at the sign-in sheet out back. If you are attending virtually, please send your contact information via the chat room to mkeene@southburlingtonvt.gov to indicate that you're a participant. And no, I'm sorry. If you're attending virtually, give us your contact information in the chat room. It's been a while since I've been to one of these meetings. And if you're on the phone, please send your contact information by email to mkeene@southburlingtonvt.gov. So let's start with the agenda. The first item on the agenda is the emergency evacuation procedure. So there are doors in the back of the auditorium and the left and the right. In the event of an emergency, you would exit those doors and either go left or right to go outside. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes in order of the agenda items? No. Okay. Are there any announcements? No. Okay. Are there any comments or questions from the public that are not related to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the first project. Continued site plan application SB 2615 of Beta Technologies, Inc. to amend a previously approved plan for a portion of an approved 40.43 acre commercial master plan, including a manufacturing facility and multiple related facilities. The amendment consists of altering the grade for the purpose of future construction and relocating impacted utilities and landscaping at 154 Davinci Drive. Well, before I ask that, is there anyone who is recused or has a conflict to disclose? Okay, hearing none. Who's here for the applicant, please?
Chris Gendron with Stantec.
Alex Gagnon with Beta Technologies.
What's your first name?
Alex.
Alex, thanks. Anyone else on your team who will be testifying?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. So you know the drill. We usually go through the staff report. Oh, that's true. I have to swear you in. Thank you. Is that right? Site plan. Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. So it's a very short staff report. You know the drill. We go through it and focus on the highlighted areas and ask you your thoughts, and the board gives you feedback. Do you have any comments to make before we do that? No.
Nope.
Okay. So the first question, number one, pardon me, is around the location of measurements from the blasting. And we are really seeking a definition, a more specific definition. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about the staff comments and about giving us a more definitive estimate of measurements.
Yeah, exactly. So the way that this operation is going to work and how it worked last time was the blaster, the person doing the blasting, they have to, and I provided in the packet a description of what they're going to do, but they're responsible for making sure that they don't exceed certain limits of noise and threshold. And they're going to monitor that to make sure that they don't exceed those thresholds, basically to cover themselves because they're under an insurance policy. And if they go above those limits and they find damage anywhere, they'd be liable. So what they do is they come up with a seismograph. They come up with seismograph locations. They position them in those locations and they monitor it throughout the blasting. So it's really up to the blaster to determine where those are, and that's what they're going to end up doing. To give specific locations right now would be a difficult thing to do. All I can say is that they're going to be in a place near the site that's going to measure it, and throughout the process of the blasting, it's going to be measured and they're going to be confirmed that it's below the levels that they're allowed to do, which are described in the packet I provided. But if they go over that, then they'll have to adjust their blasting parameters.
Okay. Board, what do we think of that?
I got a question.
Sure, Mark.
Is the methods and methodology they're planning on proposing sort of like an industry standard guidelines that are meant? Because to me, that sounds rather arbitrary. You know, they could place it in a location that they know are going to come under the limits, and who else is proving those numbers to the city? You know, who's going to be, you know, fox watching the hen house kind of thing. So.
Yeah, what I would say is we would be following industry standard practice. We're going to be the closest building to this blasting with our, we have advanced manufacturing that's going to be happening right next to it. So I think we're going to be pretty well incentivized ourselves to make sure that that blasting isn't impacting us, because it'll be, as close as, call it 70 feet away from our building when it's happening, just quite a bit closer than anyone else would be.
Will those locations be communicated ahead once they're determined? Is that something that would be communicated out or available to people to see once the blasting plan begins and the blasts are determined? Will those locations be fixed and known at that point?
I think they certainly could be. It's not like standard practice that you would do something like that. But if that's something that the board would like to, or staff would like to see, absolutely, we could
What do you think?
Present that information. But to go back to your answer about like, is there standards? It's in the packet, but they describe, it's all based, they base all their stuff on their standards, which is the U.S. Bureau of Mines, and there's specific requirements in there, and that's what they're going to be required to meet.
Okay.
So, do you think it would be useful to have their these metrics published with us beforehand?
I have two questions or comments, and maybe one is for staff. Is the rationale for us to know this location, the locations of these measurements, a requirement or a preference because of any sort of risk to the city or to the sort of structures within the city? Or is it, I'm just sort of wondering why what appears to be a non-industry standard practice is being requested or recommended by staff.
Yeah, so this is a new set of standards that was written into the 2025 amendment, largely based on how one application that was very successful prior to 2025 presented their project. And the board reviewed it. It was the 550 Park Road project. It has gone off without a hitch with all our blasting. I just talked to the developer today. And it was largely like this specific question came from the thought process that Mark represented, which is, well, if you're going to be limiting to a maximum velocity and a maximum sound level, you could just choose a point on the other side of the city, and clearly it's going to be 0. So how does that represent any sort of limit at all?
So it does have
to... we're learning too. And if that Bureau of Mine standard is something that there's more information on, that could be helpful for us to understand it.
Yeah, and it has to be within 250 feet, is what I understand. That it's not that is part of the requirement. It's going to be within 200 feet or less. But
well, that sounds pretty good then, because 250 feet, there's no buildings other than the Beta building.
That's pretty standard. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty standard. And then if they need to monitor further out, they will.
Yeah.
But
I think go ahead, Frank.
I guess I have a question that.
Microphone.
I have a question that goes back to something that isn't under discussion, but is set out in the memo, saying blasting will occur between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. You go on to say, city ordinances prohibit construction noise generally outside of these hours, and hydraulic jackhammering noise outside of the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Well, if I'm a neighbor, I don't care whether it's a jackhammer or dynamite going off at 7 o'clock. Can we impose a condition? That
Yeah, I think that was discussed at a previous
Yeah, you
hearing.
did.
That's
8
why I
o'clock.
didn't highlight it in red, because it was already discussed and there was no objection.
That's going to be a condition.
Yeah.
right?
Should be 8, yeah.
It should be, all right, so consistent with the jackhammering.
Any other comments?
The only other comment I was going to make is, while I understand it's the blaster's responsibility, you folks are here. And so I'm guessing it's you folks that are going to hold that contract. And so we get to ask you the hard questions.
I'll just say that after the summer of 2020, I would take blasting over hydraulic jackhammering any day of the week.
Yeah.
So,
So the second question is related. So let me read it. Staff recommends the board discuss whether they will accept the applicant's proposal to provide a pre-blast survey for only the existing manufacturing building, or whether to extend the pre-blast survey to adjoining non-beta controlled buildings.
Our-
Sorry, could I ask a question to
Sure.
clarify? So in the response, it says evaluate structures beyond the distance to include any buildings that are closer to the blast area relative to others. Can you, that's not very descriptive for me, so I was wondering if you could expand on that a little bit more.
Sorry, where are we reading that? That's the
So
document?
it was part of, sorry, we moved on to number 2, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was part of the response you provided here. So in addition, the applicant will evaluate structures beyond this distance and include any buildings that are closer to the blast area relative to others. I wasn't quite sure what was meant by that, like what the analysis
I
would
see.
be to including all additional structures.
Yeah, what we're hoping to do, and this is what we plan to do, is it's the blast area, and the guidance will tell you 250 feet, but there's no existing buildings within 250
Right.
feet that Beta doesn't own. So we're actually taking staff's recommendation, and we're going to pre-blast. We're going to do pre-blast surveys in all of the buildings on Palmer Court that we don't own, and also on Calkins Court, just to make sure we cover our basis beyond that 250, and that's the plan.
So that speaks to number 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Questions, board? No? Okay.
Well, what does the pre-blast survey tell you exactly? I mean, when you evaluate, so there's no buildings within 250 feet, and there's one at 275. So you go out and, quote, evaluate that. Evaluate it for what?
So with a pre-blast survey, the blaster will actually go knock on doors and go inside their facility, see if there's any pre-existing cracks in the foundation, see if there's any broken windows, and they'll walk through the building and do an assessment. That way, if those folks come back and say, "Hey, you cracked my foundation," that covers them to say, "Hey,
So this is not for the protection of the homeowner; it's a liability.
Well, it's the other way around
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
because
Yeah, the other way around
if
too.
there is something that's caused by it and they have done a pre-blast survey, the insurance covers it without question.
exactly, yeah."
And that has happened I've been aware of that happening in South Burlington.
Well, how do we
recently.
know that didn't happen? That
Right.
didn't occur before.
Right, but with a
Right.
pre-blast survey, the insurance company just said, "Okay, paid, no problem."
Yep.
So is the homeowner, assuming it's a house, notified of the results of the pre-blast survey? Is he or she get a copy?
You know, I think in the past we have shared it with them. Yeah, it doesn't really hurt, and we'd be happy to do that. It's just sharing the photos that we would take and
Yeah.
sort of what we found existing in the building. I think it would benefit everyone to share that.
Well, it's not a matter of it doesn't really hurt. I mean, the homeowner has no other way to protect himself, right?
Right, and that would ensure alignment, right? If anything were to happen. if everyone had the same document
Can
ahead
you
of the
make that a
blasting.
condition of the permit that homeowners will be provided a
homeowners
copy of
are informed?
of the results of the pre-blast survey? Makes sense to me. You don't mind, do you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
It's not going to be any homes, just for what it's worth.
Property owners, business
Property,
owners.
yes.
yeah.
Structures. Any other questions about the blasting or the survey or the measurements before we move on? Okay, thank you. All right, number 3. So this question is about, should a bond be required for the completion of the earthwork? And I guess it's for us to determine if we think that's necessary to make sure that there's a provision for completion of that earthwork.
Yeah, so the board had a pretty robust discussion of this at the first hearing, and this was just to make sure that anybody got a chance to have any questions answered that they still had.
Any questions?
Yeah, I thought that maybe we did cover this. I thought the applicant was going to kind of speak a little bit to that capital reserve mechanism relative to this type of, potential situation with reclamation and that being covered.
Yeah, I think after thinking about that a little bit more, I think we were okay not pursuing that route.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep.
So you would be comfortable with a separate kind of escrow or similar. Okay, great.
That's a pivot from what I had been prepared to write a condition on. How are we going to determine the cost? I guess in the past, the board has included a condition that says the cost of restoring the site to a stabilized condition, subject to review and approval of the Director of Public Works.
Yeah, I provided a rough estimate, and I'm happy to review that with Public Works. Make sure.
Oh, it's already in the packet?
It's probably in your inbox. I don't know if it actually officially made it into the
I
record.
don't have anything in my inbox from you today.
Not today. This
Okay.
is a while ago.
Okay.
For my first go at it. But we can certainly, I think that makes sense what you said, is agreed upon with Public Works.
Okay, anything else related to this? So I think that's it. Before we ask for public comment, board members, do you have any other questions? Okay. Are there any members of the public, either here on the phone or attending virtually who want to make comments about this project? Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close SP 2615.
So moved.
Thank you, Jody.
Mhm.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Frank. Any discussion? All in favor of closing the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. You'll be hearing from us.
Thank you.
In about 1 minute.
They're also the next agenda item.
You'll be hearing from us.
Hello again.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. And we have one whole comment for this one. Let me introduce it. Continued miscellaneous application MS 2601 of Beta Technologies, Inc. to amend a previously approved plan for a 16,600 square foot motor vehicle focused commercial facility. The amendment consists of altering the grade for the purpose of future construction on the adjoining lot at 154 Davinci Drive, 4016 Williston Road. Who is here for the applicant?
Chris Gendron with Stantec.
Alex Gagnon with Beta Technologies.
Anyone else? I see some folks from the airport here. No, okay. Anyone have any disclosures or recusals? Okay. So, do you have anything to say before we go through the voluminous comments?
No, nothing for us.
Pardon me?
I swear I'm
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Pardon me. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Let me read this. Staff recommends the board ask the applicant to provide an estimated cost for restoration of the subject property to include permanent, pardon me, stabilization, topsoil, and seeding. Staff recommends the board consider whether to require that amount to be provided as a surety prior to issuance of a zoning permit, with the amount to be reviewed and approved by the Director of Public Works. So I have a question. What is a surety? Is that like when you put money in escrow or something?
Anything from an insurance company to, as we discussed earlier, a bank that's providing backup in the form
Okay.
of a letter of credit or
Okay.
any money bags that says I'm good for it. You know?
Okay. So the question is, do we want the applicant to provide an estimate of the cost and some surety?
Yeah, I think this is covering
Yes.
the same thing on the last
Okay.
item, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
same
Yeah.
project,
Right, but
just
it's a different.
two
area.
different
Oh, it's a different area. Okay.
applications. Same, it's all the same.
But this is the same principle.
It'll
as
be
that-
all
that
same
third item.
principle. It'll all happen at the same time, the restoration of
Okay.
both projects.
But it will include a surety.
Yeah.
So this one, so these are this is one project that spans two parcels.
Right.
So, I don't know if we can do one surety that covers both parcels. It might have to be broken down. I know that we have done one surety that covers multiple parcels, but then the individual numbers were like enumerated in the
Mhm.
bond language. So do you have an estimate for this property?
I gave you one estimate, but it's very easily to break it up into two
Oh, okay.
because
So what
all
you
the
were mentioning
paving is
earlier was
all
an
the
estimate.
paving is on this parcel, so it's mostly the paving is part of this parcel, and then everything else is just topsoil and seed.
Okay, I'm looking through my email.
It was a
Okay,
while
got
ago.
it. It's from the 19th of May, and you
Yes,
said
a while.
I have been regarding the restoration cost estimate. We're assuming the following: we bought and put into escrow and release once the project applies for a site plan application, meaning if it's no longer just excavation, if it's development.
Yep.
Proposed timeline for restoration will be 3 years from the time a zoning permit is issued, only if a site plan has not been submitted. So you said topsoil and seed is $250,000, pavement is $50,000, and total is $300,000. You're saying that those numbers represent both this and the prior application together.
Yeah, and the 50 would be
Ah.
part of this application, and most of the 250 would be part of the other.
Okay. I see, said the blind man.
Okay. Any other questions?
So I
Okay.
guess maybe this is for later, but would our condition of that, Marla, require the bond to break out for the two different parcels like you said? Like, is that something we would want to kind of call out specifically in a condition for both of these?
I don't know. I think that might be something that if you're okay with either,
Yeah, I get.
then it's something I can talk to legal about and see what they
Yeah.
want you to do.
So if that was part of the condition
Yeah.
to break it out in the bond, you would be fine with that.
Easily, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Let's turn to the public for any comments. Are there any members of the public either here or online or on the phone who want to make some comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Thank you. Second, thank you, Ted. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. Now we'll see you later.
See you in
Great.
June.
Okay. I am recused from the next discussion, so I will step down.
Thank you, Dawn. We'll see you in a minute.
All right. While the next applicant makes their way, I will introduce this agenda item number 7. Continued final plat application SD 2601 of Green Mountain Habitat for Humanity to subdivide an existing 36.2 acre lot developed with a single family home, a barn, and a tennis court into 2 lots of 34.2 acres, lot 1, and 2 acres, lot 2, and demolish the existing structures for the purpose of developing lot 2 to be reviewed under separate site plan application. This is continued. And so if you all could make sure your microphones are on and introduce yourselves.
Yep. Brian Courier, Hillary Burke Civil Associates, project engineer.
Robin Pierce, Green Mountain Habitat for Humanity.
Tom Bellavance, Northeast Agricultural Trust.
Great. And we've seen you all before for this continued application, so I won't swear you in again. So we've seen you a few times for this application, and there was a couple outstanding pieces. So unless you had any opening remarks, I'll just jump into the comments we have outstanding. Anything additional?
Nope.
Okay. Great. So staff comment number 1. This is about constructing, potentially constructing the road to the property line, which we have discussed previously. So we were able to deliberate on this item and get some feedback from the legal staff with the city. And in this requirement, the LDRs read that the applicant must construct the connecting street or contribute to the cost of completing to the roadway to complete construction. So
Contribute the cost.
Yes, the cost. So in the feedback that we have received, the potential approach that we had discussed previously is not something that is recommended, given kind of the lack of a substantial financial mechanism there. And so we wanted to start by just asking for your thoughts on a proposal to either construct the road or what financial mechanism you might recommend to be relied on to contribute to the cost of completing the complete road construction at this time.
So I guess I'm a little confused. Are we, like, the staff recommends the board require a condition, but doesn't it say, and I thought we had agreed that it was contingent to the sale of lot 3 or 4?
Yeah, so the staff report and kind of the additional feedback we got back, there was some delay in that. So this is based on feedback from the legal staff with the city. This is not something that's being recommended at this time. And so a sticking point is the having a mechanism. Right now, the mechanism or the point in which the cost would be contributed would be at the time of issuance. And so we don't have proposing contribution at a later time is not something that is kind of recommended.
Right. So if so staff wrote the planning zoning staff wrote this because of vacations and summer and city council packets and whatever. We didn't get feedback from DPW and legal until after the packet was published. The feedback from DPW and legal, which the board just heard tonight when they deliberated before this meeting, was they didn't like staff's suggestion.
Okay.
So just to be completely blunt about it. So they were concerned that the cost being tied to the time of sale of lot 1 or lot 4 was not really great. And so the board is asking, had you had any additional ideas that you liked for how to do something other than either contribute the cost now or build the whole thing as part of your zoning permit? And you aren't necessarily required to have another idea, but what ideas do you have?
If
Well,
you did, we're all ears.
so you're saying just constructing it as a private drive to the location shown on our plans, that's not an option.
So that is your proposal now. If you can scroll up a bit, Alex, so everyone can see the standard. Oh, I see. You're on a different page. Just past it, I think. Yep, so just past. So the applicant must construct a connecting street to the property line or contribute the cost of completing to roadway complete construction. So you're not proposing to construct it to property line. You're not proposing roadway complete construction, which we understand. I'm not, accusing you of anything. How would you propose for the board to make an affirmative finding on this criteria?
I guess I'm a little bit confused because in essence, there is going to be a lien on lots, the remaining parts of lots 1 and 4. And if I go to sell it, any attorney doing the title work will notice that this is a requirement. So in essence, we are putting a lien on the property that has a much greater value than any cost of continuing this road. So I'm not sure why legal is concerned about it, because in essence, our hands are tied with any further developments of lots 4 and lot 1 without meeting this criteria. Or am I confusing something?
Yeah. So
Can you,
oh,
sorry, maybe just humor me. What is a lien and how is that different from, because I think when we talk to legal about it, we use the term bond. And I'm wondering if that's an important difference or it's not an important difference. I genuinely don't know.
Excuse me. He doesn't mean a lien. He means it's like a.
He said like a
it's
lien.
functionally like a lien, because no one's going to buy it unless they're prepared to build the road.
Yeah,
that's the point.
And I think
the requirement will be of record.
Right.
It's not a bad point. I didn't think of that earlier.
Well, bond wouldn't be the right terminology either, because that would be essentially paying for the construction of the road without doing it, which is, in my view, that's at the very bottom of the list.
Well, that's what the recommendation of staff was.
Well, the recommendation of staff was, which
contribute the
Tom
cost
agreed to
by by
right
putting the money away.
But we were in agreement, what we thought last time we were here, that could be contingent
later.
Right.
Yeah.
But
we were in agreement.
What I'm saying is the letter of credit or bond or escrow, whatever, the providing the surety for the remainder of the road. In my view, that's the absolute worst option, because if you're going to put the money or lock up the money, you might as well build the road. So all I'm saying is that would be the bottom of the list.
But just to make sure we're all on the same page, your understanding from our last conversation was that you were thinking that the condition was going to say you put aside the money at the time of sale.
At the time of the sale of lots
1 or 4.
1 or 4, Tom would either put up the money for the road or build the road.
Okay.
That was my understanding too.
Right. And that's what the city attorney and the DBW didn't.
It was the trigger point being the point of sale as opposed to the permit or the CO.
It's the delay in that contributing is what we're running into.
Well, what I like, the devil's in the details here. Saying as a condition, he'll either put up the money for the road or build the road is not the same thing as saying, as a condition of sale, the road shall be built. I think we want to say both.
we'd probably need to run that by legal
As a-
again. We do have another option to consider too.
Or
But
as a condition of sale, the road shall be built not later than,
mm,
3 months after completion of, nothing can be developed on that. That's it. Condition of development is that the road will exist before any stick-built structure
Yeah.
appears
Well,
on
the
the property.
and what we've been preaching this whole time is I think the practical way to look at it is the only way the road needs to be extended is if there is development on lot.
So I think one of the concerns, and just the messenger here, if you go to the plan, the plat, I guess, because that shows the whole thing, or whatever plan, the first plan you come to that shows the whole thing. The thought was, well, say this land gets sold, and the developer of the land says, well, actually, I'm developing way over on the right. I'm nowhere near this
Yep.
subdivision.
But
I don't want to build a road.
we don't have to worry about that, Marlon.
I do.
No, because because it's going to be a condition of the sale that the road get built. That's going to be any buyer's problem. So either the buyer is going to negotiate with him and he'll build the road, or they'll more likely have a discussion and settle about who's paying for how much of the road. But it doesn't matter where the guy intends or the buyer intends to build. If they're going to be on the lot that's being restricted, it's restricted.
You're absolutely right. That requirement is going to run with the title of the land. Whether it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or whenever, that's always going to be part of the land records.
But that's going to devalue that property by
Yeah.
a certain amount. So that's going to be burden that property with
The guarantee is not an escrow account; it's the value of the land.
How is that different than what was originally proposed? That legal and DPW don't like.
It's a better solution than anything we've heard.
I don't see how it's a different solution from the one that was in the report.
The difference is if you try to put a value on it now, let's say we wanted a bond or a letter of credit, it would have to be for a fixed number. We have no idea what the real number is.
We got an estimate from them of 150 of $1,000 to $1,200, right?
I don't care.
So 180,000.
Whatever it is, it's not as it's not as useful on an on the ground practical sense as what he's talking about, so long as we draft the condition properly. Because nothing's going to happen to that land unless legally until the road is built.
So then let me just what if you for a
regardless of what
second.
it costs, whether it's 180 or 280. That's the value
So
of
the what if here is that this board, it's 5 years from now, it's 10 years from now, it's 20 years from now, and this land sells and the developer comes in and says, actually, I don't want to develop anywhere near there. I want to just develop between Parkside Drive and North Jefferson. And so I'm going to come in for a final plat amendment, and I'm going to say to the board, why would I build this silly road? It has nothing to do with my project. That should be the responsibility of the lot to the south. And then the board says, okay. And then why have we even had this conversation?
that's wildly speculative, Marla. I'm sorry.
I think it happens all the time. I mean, we've seen a lot of developers come back and say, can you remove this previous condition? It's no longer applicable.
But it is applicable if we say so. It's a public road. It's a public road, right? Or not?
It would be there's an IOD and easement or warranty deed, yeah.
All right. So it shall be dedicated. It shall be built and dedicated as a public road. And then the board is not going to mess. That future board is not going to mess with it.
We're messing with it.
Mark, what were your thoughts?
It'll be private until it gets
Yeah.
built down to the connector eventually between Upswept and North Jefferson. City's not going to take over a dead end, 250-foot long road. So the last 150 feet is just going to sit idle, and grass is going to grow up through the pavement, and yada yada until hopefully, well, I guess that's Tom's decision, when something moves on lot 1 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, you seems
Well,
like
you're
you've
not
been-
proposing to break it up, are you? We're talking the sale number 1. The road gets built. Yes.
That's and we don't know how the question was asked. We don't know the answer. We just found out about this a few minutes ago. So I don't know the details other than it seems reasonable to us and it's something Tom's willing to do, but I don't know the details of the conversations that happened between last meeting and now.
Yeah. So again, my understanding of it is just the requirement that we're dealing with is the contribution of the cost. And there's not necessarily room to delay when that contribution happens. Frank, if I'd be curious for your thoughts on that.
You know, with all respect to the draftsman, this works, is what I'm trying to say.
But does it
I said that's
work
what we came
with
to
what
too, but then legal said,
with the LDRs?
Pardon?
But does it actually comply with this requirement of constructing or contributing?
Well, where's the language?
So it is probably
Alex, you put it back up.
Yeah, well, we can construe the restriction as his contribution.
It's not a cost.
that's
Contribute the cost.
the cost.
You're exactly right, sir. There is nothing I can do with
I
that
appreciate
lane.
your approbation, but I'll make the argument for myself.
Okay, sorry.
This is so clearly a superior approach to the problem that we should contribute to the cost to include the kind of condition we're going to write in, because de facto we will be contributing to the cost. It doesn't say when he's going to contribute the cost. I don't
That's
see
true.
that in this language.
that's
Do
true.
you? And we can hash out the exact language of the condition later on, but it should have two features. It restricts any development on the lot, and it requires construction of the road before any development.
Mark, did you have an additional comment that you haven't yet made?
Yep. I mean, this comes from someone that's been on the board for 20 years and goes back to the discussions when this condition was actually brought forth. And I remember it was an interesting discussion. And I remember this goes back to the Julie Beth Hines days, where it was to avoid future development conflicts with landowners to get a piece of road built on property that they've spent years enjoying not having a road and not having a connection, even if it was a right of way, even if it was in an easement, it wasn't everything legally was there. People came in and said, I never expected this road to go in. So it was a discussion to say you must build the road to the property line to prevent future conflicts with adjacent, property owners, especially in the subdivisions where it's a right of way right next to a house that they've started to mow, put their gardens in, and suddenly the city or the developers coming in and ripping it up and putting a connection. So I get the concept of the developer must build the road to the property line or contribute the cost, or, of the said. And I'm in agreement with Frank that this kicks the can down the road in a way that makes sense here, because I think it solves a lot of concerns. Because Marla's concern is, what if a developer 15 years comes down or 10 years comes down and says, we don't want to build in that part, we're actually going to build up by the connector and stuff like that. Well, that actually solves the problem, because you don't have this excess asphalt that's been sitting there vacant for years. And if they didn't contribute towards it, it didn't need to get built in the first place. If the sale of the land goes through and the connection for this excess road is needed, it's a condition on the sale of the land that it needs to get built. And let's be honest, if it's done in 10 years, that 180,000 doesn't seem like a bargain compared to what it's going to cost down then.
Right.
Because we don't care what the costs
and the bond or the letter of credit will be meaningless as a contribution.
Right. Because we don't know what the development's going to look like in 10 years.
That's why it's a far superior protection.
So if we can do it by the regulations, I'm okay with doing it in this structured manner for the purposes of achieving our goals that we're looking for, but still meeting the constraints of the DRB, which is what we always are constrained by.
And I'm looking at the language, and unless there's the language in the handout, and there may be language somewhere else. I mean, I don't want to play gotcha with you. You know, it could be somewhere else, but I don't see any time constraint here.
I don't either.
I'm wondering if this would really make a difference, or would is something that we would want to do in a condition, to Marla's point of this potentially being pushed out. If we could very clearly in the condition, say what the triggers are, and say this construction of this shall not be pushed out beyond the triggers.
So
stated
basically
here.
say the condition is to throw the project a bone, not because we think it might not be needed.
Right.
So make it clear that, like, it doesn't matter what part of lot 1 is being proposed for
Yeah,
development.
exactly.
This is still a condition. That does make me feel a little more comfortable. Here's a fun what if. This applicant team has submitted an application for subdivision of the lot to the south, right? You've seen the sketch, and then we now have a preliminary plat application. So that's on the schedule. So if that subdivision goes through, we could be looking at a development on lot 4 pretty darn soon, or maybe not, depending on how that property goes. Doesn't
Just to
matter.
be clear, that's just me and Tom. The preliminary.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not Habitat's not part of that one.
Sorry, Robin. It's it's the middle chair. You don't really see the person in the middle
I
chair.
always get the middle chair. I don't know why. Pick
I
in the
just
middle.
don't want to. Habitat's not on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But the road construction is on Tom anyway.
That's
as
right.
well.
Right. And that's how we kind of got into this conversation about doing something other than constructing the road to the property line or contributing the cost of completing the roadway
Correct.
construction, because it's the same property owner. So they have the,
Unique situation.
Correct.
Yep.
We don't run into the issue of 10 years down the road, the new property owner, whether it's having enjoyed the fruits of a nice side yard that they didn't own for 10 years, or the developer buying it, suddenly finding out that they have to build it, they're one and the same at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Marla, does that solve? Because I do feel like this is just like a refinement of the solution that, if I remember correctly, was actually Quinn's initial idea.
I agree that it's a refinement of the
yeah.
solution.
I'm wondering if it's going to trigger the same bristling based on the conversations you've had with.
Probably, but it's the board's authority.
Yep.
Okay, that was where I was going. Great.
And there's one more point, maybe gilding the lily, since we seem to have agreement. So, but even on the 10-year down the road point, if we assume a responsible board 10 years down the road, let's assume that, and a good faith developer comes in and says, look, it really doesn't make sense anymore, and here's why. It's not in the public interest.
We would
It doesn't
consider
serve
it,
the
right?
purpose.
It's
Pardon?
okay, I'll remind them why it's
Yeah,
important.
Mark will still.
Right. Well, no, the point is, it might
probably.
not be important anymore. There might be,
I resigned myself to it.
you don't really know what's going to happen in 10 years. So I'm even open to that happening in good faith, and not as a sleazy get around, but as a,
If a road
as
isn't
legit-
needed,
as a
I don't
legit
want to build it.
change.
If it's needed, we're going to make sure the responsible party pays.
I think that's fair. I think it's will be important to lay out the situation here, why the decision is being made, and make it clear, that it shouldn't be changed in the future. But
It's
to your
being-
point, if
Conditions are different.
yeah, if a future board receives an argument that they're persuaded, but they just need to make sure it's understood why it was put in place to begin with.
It's being made because it's a real world better solution.
Okay, to come full circle on this, I think, so just to be very clear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I ask one more
Oh,
question?
yeah, I'm so sorry. Yep.
Okay, clarifying question. If
Mhm.
we are successful in negotiating a easement with the city council between Jefferson and Upside, an easement, would that
Boy.
trigger the building of this road?
So my understanding is no. I think we would be looping back to what we have in the staff report recommendation, which
We
would,
talked through that earlier today,
Okay.
actually, as staff.
Okay.
What happens if the city council does acquire a right of way in the location of the official map road? So the option, right, the subdivision is going to be denied. They're going to take it to council under 4421 and see if council wants to take action to acquire that right of way. If city council does so, then the state statute doesn't say what happens if city council does so. It only says what happens if they don't. If they don't, then it is remanded back to the DRB.
Sure.
So talking through what happens if they do, we thought as staff that it could also be remanded back to the DRB. And the reason we got to that conclusion was that if the applicant, as part of their review in front of the DRB, had said, okay, board, we will provide that right of way, you wouldn't have required it to be a new hearing. You would have just carried on with the hearing. So we could potentially consider it being just a continuation of the same hearing.
Okay.
So no, it wouldn't change. It wouldn't be a new subdivision.
So just to articulate what I think we're landing on here is the condition that's outlined in the staff report would be requiring contribution of the cost of connecting the street and completing the top coat of pavement at the time of the sale of lot 1 or lot 4, or at the time of subdivision of lot 1 or 4, whichever comes first. And then we would also include robust language discouraging that be postponed further in the future. And is that something, one, I'll start with you guys as the applicant, that sound like something you're comfortable with?
Yeah.
Just
Well,
be extra clear.
yeah.
And then
And,
any comments from the
and we
board?
would be clear in the condition, and no development will take place until the road is built and complete.
Yep. Yeah, good point. So,
That's the key point.
mhm,
Okay.
okay.
So that's the sequence. Oh, we'll get around to the road after we build.
Oh, yes.
Have we solved this one again?
Wait,
Yeah.
can you say that last bit again, Frank, before the example?
The key point.
Yeah.
Take for the notes.
The key point is no construction shall occur on either any of the subdivided lots until the road is built.
So could the road, sorry, this is ultra specific, but it means the road being built in conjunction with the construction, not necessarily before.
First, the road will be built first.
But yes, I would say in conjunction with, and
Well, prior to it issuing like a certificate of occupancy.
there you go.
It can be done.
I don't think we can
Okay.
do so much
Like
to
if they're building
articulate
3 homes on lot 1, the road would be part of building of the
that
homes.
phase.
Okay, we can fiddle with that a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think
if
we can
Marla's
say the
comfortable
first
with
thing we're going to construct is the road. They could put.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get to the language.
We'll make sure a future developer can't say we ran out of money for the road is the intention.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
For that, we'll get to it.
How about this footpath? Right, it's much more charming.
All right. Excellent.
chips will
All
Four-wheel drive.
right. I think the board has what they need. Staff just want to do a final check. Excellent.
Good, thank you.
And that brings us to the second comment here. So one of the reasons we initially continued this hearing was comments from the water department, and you guys were still working with the city departments on that. And so there is a new comment listed in the staff report from the water department, which is the service line feeding the units is identified as 2-inch. The engineer should verify that this will provide enough water to all households. And so we are looking to include a finding requiring that this be addressed prior to approval or prior to recording the Mylar. I think it being addressed because you're seeking a denial. So, board, do you have any preference on when this comment would ultimately be addressed? Sorry, I'll start with you guys. Do you have any response
prior to
the
Mylar,
guys?
prior to the Mylar recording, I mean, it's a subdivision.
Yeah.
So prior to Mylar recording would be
Your
our
preference.
Yeah, not to hold
Okay.
things up.
Does the board have any preferences in the other direction? No. Okay, I think that sounds great as well.
I just say too that we're not requesting a denial. We'll certainly take.
Oh,
an
I'm
approval.
sorry. I'm sorry.
We will certainly take an approval.
Thank
But
you
if the
so
board
much.
does
I
not
should have
agree
been more careful.
the applicant should be approved, then
Yes, yes.
we
So
will.
You will not
we
be
were already to
surprised by a
approve, and now you're
denial.
do what we will
There you
get
go.
a denial. Yes.
Thought we were all getting along and
Yeah.
worked out our problems.
But
We have discussed the potential for denial.
yes.
No.
Yes.
Appreciate the unique situation we're all in. Okay. So that was the second comment we had on this, as far as, is mostly housekeeping from the last. Anything else from you all? Okay. Anything else, board?
No.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to, public comment. Thank you so much, board. Any public comments? I'm not seeing any. So now I'd entertain a motion to close SD 2601.
Apparently, I'm the so mover tonight, so moved.
Someone's got to do it. Thank you. Second. Thank you. All,
me and Charlie, so I think
that's what's happening. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. You'll be hearing from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I
Yeah.
ask one more question?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get a denial, and which I'm really, really happy about. Okay, possible denial. Okay. So does that automatically go to city council? What do I as a landowner need to do to move that to the next step, to get the clock running for city council to make a decision up or down on the right of way?
Yeah.
So
So
not
our-
having memorized the language of 4421, I would be just reading it again and reminding myself exactly what it says. But we can work with you on that if you
Okay,
have any
cool.
questions about it once you take a look.
Well, they have 45 days to render decision.
Right. Once the
Once the
decision is
decision's
issued,
rendered, my
then you
guess
can
is
do the
that
next
would-
thing.
I guess I have a question, which is, what do you need to go? Let's assume for a moment that we approve your project with the conditions we just discussed on handling the road.
It's the other road.
It's the other road.
Oh,
Back
the-
side of the property.
okay,
City right away connection between the two buildings.
gotcha.
Yep.
Never mind.
My guess is it will start when you get a.
Yeah, and work with staff on that.
That's
because
right. I'm not sure, like, if you
I
have
don't
to,
know, but that would
if
be
you
my
have to
guess.
submit a memo to Jesse or what happens, read the state statute. I can work with Jesse and we can figure it out from there.
Yeah, you'll work with Marla on that.
Super. Oh,
Great.
again, I want to thank all of you for your time. This has actually been a pretty pleasant experience.
Appreciate that.
It's very informative, but also too, I do appreciate the time that you all donate to the city. And I think that's what makes our city so great is volunteers like yourself who are willing to step forward and fill these positions and having a great staff. So thank you.
This hasn't been the easiest one, but yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And thank you for all your work on this one as well. You guys have also made it a pleasure to work through.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So I think the next applicant is probably represented by Brian here and a couple people online.
Yes, I believe the landowner or the applicant is online.
We have both
Okay.
landowner and applicant,
Okay.
I think, and I don't know who is participating.
Okay.
There should be a memo on the first page of this. It doesn't really
Yes.
say much, but okay.
So, let me introduce this first. Thank you. Let me introduce this. This is reconsideration of final plat application SD 2201 of Brendan Connolly to amend a previously approved plan unit development of 3 lots by subdividing an existing 8.0 acre lot developed with a single family home into 3 lots of 0.5 acre, lot 4, 0.5 acre, lot 5, and 7.0 acre, lot 1, for the purpose of developing a single family home on each of lots 4 and 5 at 5 Johnson Way.
Interesting. The
We have 9
project
acres.
it says 9.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess it's got to be 7. I must have you know how sometimes you type and you don't know where the letters went?
Right.
In the agenda, I think it was 7.
In the agenda's right. In the project description on the first page, it's wrong and it's 7 acres. Sorry.
So what I just read is
Is
still
right,
correct.
yes.
Okay. So I have a question. There's a little memo, and then there's a draft decision. But we usually vote on decisions in deliberations. So, and there's no red comments that we have to debate. So
That's
could you
correct.
please?
Oh, there's
This is one of
there
these
is
that
such
was
a
from-
deep history.
Yeah, it sounds
Brian,
like-
would you
yeah.
like to give some history, or would you like me to unmute Brendan, or what would you like to do here?
I can.
Well,
Okay.
first of all, if we're going to get into this, could you introduce yourself, please, Brian?
Yep. Brian Courier, Larry Burke Civil Associates, project engineer.
Okay, and I think I need to swear you in.
I believe the applicant's online too. You might.
Oh, who is the applicant?
Brendan Connolly.
Brett, that's right. Okay. So, Brendan and Brian, would you raise your right hands, please? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
I do.
Oh, good. Thanks. Okay, so go ahead, Brian.
So, my understanding of the history of this parcel is we were in front of you roughly 4 years ago, or a different version of you, and we had a final plat hearing. The hearing was closed. After the hearing was closed, it was discovered that Sadie Lane had not formally been adopted by the city. The development was built out. The surety that the developer had posted had expired, and the city was plowing it. But the previous developer didn't go through that last step of getting the city council to formally adopt the road, and there wasn't a warranty deed in the land records for the road. So we worked with staff to essentially pause the application while we worked for 4 years to get this road taken over by the city. That's primarily where the applicant, Brendan Connolly, worked with the city, again, for numerous years. There was a change in a few staffing positions. I know that there were some changes in the stormwater regulations in that time, and since then the city spent considerable amount upgrading, let's say, older stormwater facilities. So in order for the city to take over the Sadie Lane Road, my understanding is a contribution was made from this landowner in order to address some of the stormwater deficiencies, and that was enough to satisfy. I don't know how many folks from the city participated, but I know planning and zoning, town attorney, and public works were involved. And my understanding is that the city council adopted the road formally just a few weeks ago. So we're back in front of you now that this has been vetted. Sadie Lane is formally a city road. So we'd like to move forward with our subdivision, as we obviously have a curb cut off of Sadie Lane.
I generally think everything Brian said is right. I think that, it would be portrayed slightly differently, but effectively the same. The only minor addition I would want to make is that the board, upon learning that Sadie Lane was not a public street and therefore the project could not be approved, reopened the hearing, but did not set a continuation date and asked staff to set a continuation date when the road was approved. So this was a decision made by the board, not by staff.
Okay.
So what do we need to do tonight? I have one comment about the document you sent, and that is that it still says Johnson Way, and shouldn't it say Sadie Lane?
So the project was warned in 2022 as 5 Johnson Way / 1700 Dorset Street.
Okay.
Yeah, so the remaining lands, the 79
lot.
acres we were talking about, the parent lot, it's the house 1700 Dorset on what is now Johnson's Way.
Okay. All right.
The curb cut is on Dorset, but because 2 lots were subdivided on Dorset Street, it was
Okay.
renamed Johnson Way. It's
If you want to go way back, it's the Hone subdivision, the Hoehn property. Yeah.
Okay. So what do we need to do with this?
There was nothing left for the board to do, but it had to be reconsidered, reopened. in order to take the new information that the road is now a city street.
Okay,
And vote on it as long as
but
we're all
we
good.
still will deliberate on this.
You
at
can deliberate after this meeting. You can deliberate before your next meeting, whatever
Okay.
you'd like to do.
And conditions were part of it because it got that far.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But we do need to take public comment should there be any.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anybody online who would like to make a comment? Because there's nobody else here.
Sure. There were a couple
I know.
people online. Let me just see if anybody has any
Oh,
comments.
there was a woman here too. Oh,
That
okay.
was the property owner for the previous application.
I see.
Nope. No public comments.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. So, I would enter.
I have a question.
Sure.
I'm looking at decision. Paragraph 4 of decision. The following waivers of the land development regulations are granted. The garage on lot 4 need not be set back 8 feet from the front facade of the house, but shall be, and then it stops, shall be.
Oh,
what?
yes, that's right. Something's missing.
Hmm.
Yep. I did see
I think
that.
it should be side loaded. Should that be lot 5, Marla?
Let me get to the right page. Oh, shoot. What page is it on in the packet? Anyone?
12.
12.
Thank you. Paragraph, nope, not 12.
She was
Oh,
testing
there,
whether
I
we
see.
really read every line.
13 of the packet. 12 of the
Okay,
decision.
following waivers of land development, but shall be. Okay, so we're gonna do a word search for the word garage and find what it says in the body of the decision. Shall be side loaded while the garage on lot 4 shall be front loaded is what the rest of that says.
Okay.
Nope, it says that already in 5. So let's see what else. The following waivers are granted. Let me search for the word waiver in the body.
Why do we care? Because the 2 floor plans and elevations show that it is set back 8 feet in the documentation.
Because they could be custom built homes. Those are just examples.
Yeah, lot 4 would be a traditional with the garage facing Dorset Street, but do the configuration lot 5, the we call it side loading the garage.
Yeah, I know.
So
essentially.
you're saying this references the wrong, lot 4 does not need a waiver.
So lot 4 need not be set back 8 feet from the front facade, but shall be side loaded. I think you're right.
Yeah, I
Ryan.
think-
Yeah.
well, I
Now
think
that I've
should
read
be
it again.
lot 5, because we wouldn't. The reason we would need that waiver is because it's side loaded. It doesn't need to be set back 8 feet.
So that condition, well, but it says that already in 5.
Yeah,
I guess it's,
maybe it's just
but I think
extra.
we can just get rid of but shall be because number 5 says what has to happen instead. So the garage on lot, but it should be lot 5, right? The garage on lot 5. Let me go to the plans.
Yeah, well, I think if you just said that the garage on lot 5 must be, well, I guess.
But the regulations say that it has to be set back 8 feet. I
Right.
think that we oh, no, the garage on lot, oh, if you go to page,
The garage on lot 4
Plan.
must be. Well, yeah, it's an affirmative for a waiver, so it's a little strange.
keep going, keep going, keep going. That one. So I wonder if the garage on lot 5 didn't have to be set back 8 feet. No, the garage on lot 4 doesn't have to be set back 8 feet because it's side loaded. Because
No,
the front-
5 side loaded.
5 side loaded, 4 is front loaded.
How is 5 side loaded?
another condition is that
The front of the
homes
house
face
is
west.
facing Dorset.
Yeah, so your front door on
Orientation.
lot 5 is on the Dorset.
So it
Street
doesn't
side.
make sense to set back the garage 8 feet because what are you
Correct.
setting back from?
Yeah, the point is you want the architectural features to present rather than the garage. So if the garage is on the side, doesn't matter. But lot 4, there's plenty of space to have the front of the house
Right.
protrude 8 feet in front of the garage.
Garage on lot 5. Sorry, the garage on lot 5 need not be set back 8 feet from west facade. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
But shall be side loaded or
And
to
is
the
Sadie
north.
Lane now Johnson Lane?
No,
No.
Johnson Way is off the page. the parent parcel is on Johnson Way.
This is
These two new parcels would be on Sadie Lane.
Sadie's over there.
Johnson Way is that little.
So these lots
Really a
got
shared
carved
driveway,
out of
but
the lines
it's
for
a private
Johnson.
road.
That's why I got that address.
Imagine the post office was having issues.
Well, when they get around to it.
Don't have one
Yeah,
question.
go ahead, Ted.
So this, in 22, this is reviewed versus the LDRs. And now it's 4.5 years later.
And it's still under the 22 LDRs because the hearing was never closed.
Okay. Thank you.
That was gonna be one of my questions.
Anything else? We've already asked for public comment. Did we?
Yes.
Okay. And so I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
After 4.5 years. So moved.
Go ahead, Ted.
Sure, I'll second one.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? No. Okay. It is carried. Thank you, Brian.
Amazing. Thank you, guys. Dawn, do you remember this one from 2022?
Vaguely. and
Yeah.
I remember it was confusing back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of wetland discussion.
The memo was really
Yeah,
clear.
and the 3 barn thing or the 2 barn, whatever. Anyways.
That was the parcel south of this one.
So that's a different project.
Oh, different project? Okay. Okay, we have the minutes of May 5th.
And 19.
And the 19.
Oh,
They're both in the same.
I must have read both of them then because I read.
Yeah.
I'd entertain a motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. I do have, I'm just going to say during discussion, I do regret saying messing with the wetlands. But other than that, I don't want it to be, it can't be changed because I guess I said that, but it was a rather inelegant way of.
I think that's fine.
4 years, that word has changed.
Yeah.
It
Any-
is a little bit jarring sometimes to see your own words. Like,
Yeah.
I know. Any other comments? All in favor say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Okay. It's
All right,
carried.
hang on. Sue's going to join us for a second. You always can count on Sue. Sue, I've unmuted you if you'd like to unmute yourself. You can always count on Sue to catch the ridiculous thing you say.
Thanks, Sue. Just kidding.
Well, she's still muted. I did allow you to unmute yourself, but
Okay. Well, that'll teach me.
all right.
As I said to Frank many years ago, I get paid extra for eloquence.
That's all right. My the reign of terror is soon ending. Okay. Thank you, Sue. You always do a great job. So, do we want to vote? Well, wait.
Wait,
The meeting
Jody
is now
moved, Quinn
over.
seconded, and everybody voted, right?
Yep.
All right.
Any other business?
No other business.
Okay.
So meeting ended?
Meeting ended.